Guys, what's up? It's C, and we are back for another episode review of Love and Marriage Huntsville. And today we are going to talk about season 2, episode 8, Mama's Gonna Cuss You Out. So let's go ahead and get into it. Now, the episode starts with Maurice and Marcel meeting up at a pool hall. Maurice is kind of using this opportunity to decompress a little bit because he's been stressing because he's 10 days away from taking his bar exam to become a lawyer. And Marcel just wants to meet so he can get a few things off of his chest regarding Tasha and things that are going on in their business life. So they get together, and basically Marcel just lets it be known that he's got a bunch of big projects in the works and that are currently going on. And he kind of feels like Tasha is not all in, whereas these are big deals and she should be happy and celebrating and wanting to make it happen. But he feels like she is more concerned about her podcast than she is about Schultz. So that will probably somehow become a problem later on down the line. Marcel will probably turn this into an issue, but we'll see what happens. Then we show Tasha. We get to her. Tasha's going to a radio station to promote an event that she's doing. She's doing a live podcast event where they're going to talk about what it takes to make a marriage work. And she goes on air with the radio host and she kind of gives them an idea of what to expect at this event. And they even do a giveaway for tickets. So she's trying to get it out there and she's really excited about it. So then we go over to the Holtz where Marcel is at home and he is literally like daddy daycare. He's got a baby in one hand. He's unloading the dishwasher. He's got the other kids at the table. He's getting drinks and everything. So he is just like the dad doing it all at this point. And he's hoping that Mel comes home with food. And Mel gets home, of course, and she does not have food. So he's a little disappointed about that. And he uses that as a reason to fuss. Now, side note, before we continue to talk about their segment, he was sick last week, and I don't know how close together these tapings are, but he was sick last week, and this week he sounds a bit worse. Now, I know coronavirus was in the picture at this point because Jalen and Kimmy were talking about it, you know, in the last episode. So I'm thinking, I hope that Marcel didn't get the Rona or anything, not to make light of it because it is a serious subject, but he did sound a little bit concerning, like when he was coughing, and he just did not sound well. But obviously he's still alive, so if he did have it, it wasn't anything too bad. Now, he and Mel take an opportunity to talk, and she lets him know that she didn't bring anything home because she had intended on cooking, and that, you know, she wasn't gonna buy anything because she was gonna cook. So that was something that he didn't really have to fuss about. And then he's kind of getting onto her because he feels like now she's lacking, where as she had complained in the past that he needs to step up to the plate and do more. Well, now he feels like he is doing more and she has started to lack. And she says that it's just because she is trying to open up new doors to, you know, make things happen. And he got offended when she said that because he took it as her saying that he does not make things happen. But that wasn't what she was saying at all. She just simply said she wants to help contribute to making things happen. And he was kind of like, oh, well, you should have said that in the first place. So he got big offended like real quick, but for no reason, because that wasn't what she was talking about. But then they talk about the play, and she tells him about this play and the gist of it, about it being about a woman who was caught up in her husband's scandal. Her husband was a pastor of a church and ended up being in this sex scandal with the ministry of the minister of music, which happens to also be a guy. And it, I guess, was like a social media frenzy or whatnot. And Martell is completely against it. He does not think that she should do it because he feels like that in turn will cause them to relive something that almost made them split up. She feels like it could be something different. She feels like this could possibly be something that can help her continue to heal from this situation. And just because he went out and did what he did, that doesn't mean that she's not going to do this play, because she's going to do the play. And she's determined to do it, and basically told him that there's nothing that he can say about it because she will be doing it. And she also told him that she booked a session with the therapist because she wants to make sure that what she's doing, all these different endeavors that she's in, that she's not trying to compensate for something, or that she wants to uncover whether or not there's a reason behind her doing so much so fast. And so he asked, does she think that he needs to go with her? And she's like, no, this is kind of something that I need to do for me. So then we get to Kimmy. Now, Kimmy meets up with her sister-in-law, Millie, and they kind of catch up a little bit. This was kind of a fluff sort of scene, so to speak. Now, Kimmy expresses to Millie that she's concerned that when Kiowa moves to town, whether or not there will be this friction or a problem, because she knows that Monster is gonna want to be with his mom some of the time, whereas Maurice thinks that no, the agreement was that Monster is gonna come and stay with me. And Kimmy knows that Monster does miss his mom, and she knows that as a mom, if you are that close with your child, you're not just gonna be in town near this child and not have him, for some of the time. So she doesn't know how Maurice is gonna handle that when it comes. Millie then kind of asked her, okay, so when are you gonna quit your job? Everybody is on this Kimmy quit your job tip. Kimmy's like, I don't know, I have obligations that I need to fulfill. I have things to do. And quitting my job right now would not be good for that. And so Millie's like, well, you can quit your job and come work for Credit One, which is Maurice's company. And Kimmy tells her, I have never, ever intended on working for Credit One. That is Maurice's dream, and I can let him have his dream. Even though we're together, we don't have to be partners in that particular endeavor. And then we go back to Mel. They show Mel showing up for the table reading for the play. She gets there and they ask her, has she read the entire script? And she has not read the script. So she gets there. She basically thinks it's going to be a cakewalk. She's there and you have the different cast members. Everybody's kind of reading, doing like a rough read or whatever. And they show, and I don't know if it was editing or what, but she wasn't as on point as she thought she would be. But she is eventually getting it together. And she's pretty confident that she'll crush this role that she's going to play. So then we go to Tisha, who is getting ready for her podcast event. Everybody's getting everything set up. She's excited. Everybody is showing up, all of the panel. The only person that's missing is her husband. So she's like, oh my goodness, where is Marcel? So she calls him and he's on his way. He kind of is in his feelings about her podcast anyway. So I don't think that he was just running to be the first person through the door, but he does show up in support of his wife's event. So everybody is starting to show up, and you see Mel come through the door, and Mama Wanda is over there, and she is just like flabbergasted. She is blown away at the fact that Mel showed up to this event. So they are on the panel. Mel is in the audience, of course. Destiny, everybody is out. Her husband, they're all out there in the audience watching. And questions are coming to the panel, and somebody asks about advice, and Marcel tells them that they need to keep God first in the marriage. That's sort of the blanket answer, as most God believing people, say we need to keep God first in the marriage, and everything else just kind of comes after. But they also want to know if God gives the man the vision in the marriage. And Marcel's like, absolutely. And we know, just based off of past dealings with Marcel, he does feel like the man is the head and the man should make all of the decisions in the marriage. Tasha had to fight tooth and nail to get the position that she has now, and will probably have to continue to fight to, have more opportunities to do different things and be the wife and be the mom. So I know that that's going to be a constant challenge between her and Marcel in their marriage. Now, they also ask a question about infidelity and whether or not infidelity is a deal breaker. Kimmy feels like, I'm not going to play the cheating game. You cheat on me, I'm done. There's no such thing as a mistake. Everybody else feels like there could be room for forgiveness. Kimmy was probably the only one. She didn't say a definite, it is a deal breaker, but her words did lead you to believe that she would be gone if Maurice cheated on her. Marcel gave the fakest answer in the world, saying, don't let me find out about it and don't do it again, knowing that he'd probably go upside Tasha's head if he found out that she was sleeping around or creeping on him. But he had to, I guess, make it entertaining or look good. And so Mel's in the crowd like, what? Really? Like, everybody was just like, his answer was just so BS. But hey, it was what it was. And Mel took this opportunity to kind of point out, because they started talking about power couples. And when they said power couples, for some reason, that set Mel off, because she feels like she and Martell are one of the major players or power couples in Huntsville, and that Tasha is trying to, be in her shadow, so to speak. Like, she compared her Embrace Beauty logo to Tasha's podcast logo, and she said that there were similarities between the two, and she was just like pointing out weird stuff that made her feel like Tasha is trying to be like her, I guess, or in her shadow. Not sure, but that's how Mel felt at the time. Then the event is over. Tasha feels like it was an overall success. So everybody's kind of chatting afterwards. And you have Kimmy and Mel to the side talking. And then here comes Mama Wanda. Now, Mama Wanda originally said that she was going to keep the peace and wasn't going to be with the shit. But she changed her mind in an instant. As soon as she had the opportunity to talk to Mel, she told Mel that she's shocked that she's even there, and that considering how she treated her daughter at her Embrace event, she got a lot of nerve showing up to Tasha's event. And Mel did keep it respectful the whole time. She did kind of clap back at her a little bit, because Miss Wanda was telling Kimmy, well, I know how you feel. You feel blah, blah, blah. And then she told Mel, and you feel blah, blah, blah. And so she's like, basically Mel snapped back and was like, so you're going to tell Kimmy how she feels, and now you're going to tell me how I feel. She was like, how do you know I feel that way? Did I say I felt that way? And then she kind of reeled it back in, because she did realize that this could go in a direction that she didn't intend for it to go. she talked to Tisha at the party, and they both agreed that they were going to leave, each other's children and each other's parents out of their beef. But Tisha's mom insists on inserting herself into this beef because she feels very strongly that the Holtz and the Scotts don't need to have any dealings with one another. There's just too much water under the bridge. And I forgot to mention that Mel brought a gift. She brought a gift to Tisha and she gave it to her, and it was like an olive branch. And that was her way of reaching out, saying that, she wants to kind of let bygones be bygones and that they should have a new start. Well, at the same time, you shaded the crap out of her, and she'll probably see this, in later episodes. When she sees the episodes, you shaded her event, and then in the same breath you give her an olive branch. But that just kind of seems to be what they do on this show, so she probably won't be upset about it, but who knows. Now, Mel refers to Mama Wanda as Wild Wanda and tells her that she's gonna remove herself from the discussion before she gets disrespectful. And Mama Wanda was like, well, I'm not gonna let you get disrespectful with me. But she walks away, as she should have, because you don't want to be the one at the event going off on the host mom. So she did walk away, and as she should have. So then, I don't know if it was the next day or a few days later, but we get Kimmy and Tisha. They meet up to discuss the success of the event, and Kimmy takes that time to bring up how Miss Wanda came and went off on her and went off on Mel, and she's trying to do everything in her power to keep from cussing Miss Wanda out. And she did say, I'm trying to keep from cussing your mama out, because she is pushing her to that point. And Tisha is now doing the same thing that she felt that Mel was doing to Kimmy, where Mel just basically told Kimmy, okay, we're going to have what we have on this side. You can have what you have with your family on that side. Just don't bring me up. Just leave me completely out, me and my family completely out of it. And I'll do the same when we're together. Well, Tisha feels like Kimmy needs to have her back at all times. And it seems like she was saying, whether I'm right or wrong, at the end of the day, you need to have my back because you're my friend, you're my sister, and that's how it needs to be. Well, Kimmy feels like, I do have your back. Yes, you are my friend and sister. I will always have your back. However, I'm not going to go to bat for you for something, especially when I feel it is not right. And I can completely respect Kimmy and her stance on this, because Kimmy wants to be neutral, and they will not allow her to be neutral. For some reason, she is always being pulled in the middle of something, and that is not a good position to be, and it's not a comfortable position to be in. So she understands that, yes, we are family, but I'm not gonna just automatically take your side when you have been the cause of some shit yourself. And Tisha's like, well, no, I haven't. When have I done that? And so Kimmy brings up, specific events or specific times where Tisha has said some things that she probably shouldn't have said. And Tisha's like, so that's not true. And she is not accepting accountability in this situation. And that's pretty much where this episode ends. If I left out anything, please make sure to leave it in the comments below. Also, do not forget to like this video and go ahead and subscribe to my channel so you can be here when I put out more content, because I will be putting out more and more content in the future. And as always, I thank you guys so much for coming and spending your Saturday evening with me. Have a wonderful rest of your weekend, and I will see you next time. Peace.